Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Hearthstone here. We're going to be doing another deck check, and I am, of course, the Duke of TBC here. Today we're going to be looking at another deck that I'm not sure that really needs a deck check, but we're doing it anyways because I'm just running down the list of some of the most popular things that you'll see when you ladder. Once again, I have not been laddering too terribly much this season. I just haven't had the time for it. Currently saving for a new PC so I can actually stream for anybody who's interested in my videos. The easiest way you can help me do that is like, share, comment, subscribe. Just support my videos in any way you can, and that is a long way to getting me to a place where I can start streaming for people. So last time I left off, I believe I was on a winning streak, but I can't remember. And we're going to try and work on the dreaded and horrible, everyone hates it, Warlock Zoo deck. The term Zoo comes from Magic the Gathering. Zoo in Magic is a legacy deck, and I believe a modern deck now as well, that uses low-cost mana-efficient creatures that do better and are more valuable than their mana costs.
Your soul shall be
So
mine.
this is actually an incredibly good hand. Go ahead and um this is we don't need it for now. We can get more value off of creatures. That is an amazing hand. Sweet. So it comes from a bunch of low-cost creatures that gain very quick card advantage in the early game and can kill people before the game really reaches any kind of late game, or can gain so much advantage in that early game that there's really not much that your opponent can do about it. So that's the whole point of it.
Reporting for duty.
So here we're hoping we can hit the 50-50. If not, I will kill it. Actually,
The light protects me.
let's see if we can.
Get in there, fight, maggot.
Perfect. Now next turn we can throw a wolf between these and kill anything big that he decides to send our way. I feel kind of dirty. I'm playing in rank 14 with a zoo build that can reach legend if you decide to grind it out. This is one of the dirtiest openings I've ever had. So if we can hit another 50-50 here, oh god, it doesn't even have to be a 50-50. Let's see what we get. Can we get this 50-50? Nope. So Consecration wrecks us pretty hard here. But we have some decent follow-up plays. We get to keep 2 creatures against a Consecration. If he doesn't have it, there he goes, yeah. So we get to keep 2 creatures, which kind of sucks. But we still have pretty good early advantage, and we can always keep drawing. And let's just go ahead and keep applying pressure.
I fight.
So we're still looking in pretty good shape. If he drops anything kind of big, we can probably just outrace him at this point, no matter what he drops, unless he gets some serious healing off.
Give me a quest.
Questing Adventurer. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, how do I want to deal with this? Let's go ahead
I fight.
and clear his board. That seems like the best option.
My shield.
That seems like the best. Now we're playing around Consecration at this point. It's going to be very difficult for him to deal with this aside from Equality Consecration or Equality with Pyromancer. So we're looking in okay shape.
And plunder.
That's slightly annoying, but it can be dealt with. Redemption? Oh wow, he is dumping his hand into this. This play actually might help him come back. That was a good turn for him. That was an incredibly strong turn for him.
Into the breach.
Redemption? That's fine. We're still looking okay here. But wow, he definitely had an incredibly good turn there. That might have actually gave him enough time to make it back here.
Speak to me.
Blessing of Kings, not that strong here. But he did trade in an efficient way. But at this point, he is almost top decking, and we have tap. There's not much of a way I can think of aside from him dropping Tyrion Ford Ring that we should lose this, because if he clears this, he's going to draw up. He's still looking at 1, 2, 3, 4 damage next turn. Wow. He is getting the top decks of the century. But this still really isn't all that bad. I can actually clear his board. But do I actually go for it? Let's see. Let's go for... This may seem counterintuitive, because it's going to draw him cards. But we might be able to just overload his sword at this point. Wow, that worked out incredibly well. Let's go ahead.
For the crusade!
Get in there! Fight, dragon! Job's done.
So, anything... I think Consecration is about his only out here. Because we've just completely overloaded the board. And he's already dropped 1 Consecration. Hit goes down to 7. Hit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we need to top deck 1 damage, and we should be fine. Yeah, he has to hit here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, he has to hit here. It's his only option. So we need to top deck 1 damage, which shouldn't be all that hard. That is most of our deck at this point. That is 2 Dark Iron Dwarves, 2 Soulfires. Yeah. Well played.
You must cleanse the Sunwell.
And once again, that is a win. You can see he was starting to come back, but it didn't matter. I had already done way too much damage for him to deal with. And even with a couple turns, like his Consecration was an absolute wreck. The turn where he played his 3/3 taunt, I always forget the name of it, along with Sword and some other minions was just too much as well. I've once again built up a bunch of quests, which I actually need to get done. And now we'll take a look at the deck, even though most people know it. There are a few different builds for this deck, and they're all very viable. This is the one that I like, Soulfire. It's Soulfire, it's just too good. There's really no excuse not to run this in pretty much any Warlock build. Abusive Sergeant, this has been a staple in this deck. It is an essential way to getting a low-cost minion to be able to deal with a high-cost minion. With some minions in here, like Flame Imp and Knife Juggler and Nerubian Egg, you can, and even Harvest Golem, you can trade one of your 1 through 3 mana cards easily for a 4 or 5 mana cost card, and that is a trade that feels very bad for your opponent, and this is the enabler for it. Argent Squire is a strong 1-drop. It is probably the weakest 1-drop in the deck. The only plus side to it is that once you buff it with an Abusive Sergeant or a Dark Armed Dwarf or something, you can trade and then you get to keep it, and sometimes just poking somebody for an extra 2-3 damage with your 1-drop can win you the game, as you saw there. You know, getting extra little points of damage here and there against that Paladin is what led to an easy victory. Flame Imp, one of the best one drops in the game, if not arguably the best one drop in the game. Void Walker, incredibly strong card, 1/3, can protect your other small minions from, big things killing it. Not the best DPS builder, but it can be buffed with things like Direwolf Alpha, Defender of Argus, and it can just get out of hand. Direwolf Alpha, strong 2-drop. When you're flooding the board, this thing can act as a Flame Tongue Totem and can let your creatures do a dance to deal with really big creatures that you have to trade with. Say a Druid gets out a very early Ancient of War, and you have to eat through that 10 health. Every bit of 1+ damage you can get really helps with that. Haunted Creeper is an incredibly sticky creature. It does not have incredible DPS, as it is just dealing 1 damage as a 2-drop, which some people might find weak, but it is an incredibly powerful card when combined with buffs, as well as helping keep AoE from completely wrecking your board. Knife Juggler, it's Knife Juggler, things like Haunted Creeper, just playing your creatures. You saw just in that game, killing my own Haunted Creepers and then going nuts with the extra damage was phenomenal. He killed an extra dude, got 2 extra damage on the Paladin, and that turn helped, secure the win. Nerubian Egg, I wish I had this last game. Just brutal anti-AoE tech. This card is insane. It allows for you to keep your tempo going, even through Flame Strikes, Holy Novas, Consecrations. It is a fantastic card, and it can also trade up into other things using your Direwolves, your Abusives, your Dark Irons, and becomes a really annoying thing to beat through if Defender of Argus. Harvest Golem, it's a 3-drop that would be considered low DPS, but it is an incredibly sticky creature and very annoying to deal with. And another good target for buffs for taking out higher costed minions. Scarlet Crusader, 3/1, another sticky minion, getting that 3 damage in. This is one of my favorite cards because people play Yetis, people play 4/5s or 5 health minions quite consistently. So throwing a Dark Iron Dwarf the following turn, or putting an Abusive Sergeant or even a Dire Wolf Alpha down, can help kill those 4 and 5 health creatures, like your Azure Drakes, your Yetis, without losing your creature, which means they have to find and waste another 1 damage to kill it, which normally leads for a 2-for-1. Shattered Sun Cleric, good card. It's just very solid, nothing broken about it. You're essentially getting a 4/3 for 3, which doesn't sound amazing, which that's average stat. It's the fact that you're splitting your threats apart, and it's especially fun, like say you play a Knife Juggler and a Mage spends a turn Fire Blasting it, thinking that they can just Fire Blast it next turn, and then you hit it with the Shattered Sun Cleric, and they've basically wasted 2 mana, and sometimes you fogged their turn completely. It's a lot of fun little tricks. Also, as you saw, that gave me that little push to secure the lethal kill in that game. Dark Iron Dwarf, 4/4 for 4, essentially a 6/4 for 4. Incredibly strong card, once again, allows your lower cost minions in the curve to go ahead and kill things that are bigger than it that they shouldn't be able to. Defender of Argus, incredibly strong card. You're essentially getting a 4/5 for 4 mana, which doesn't sound incredibly good because that's basically just a Yeti. It's the fact that you can be making other cards like your Nerubian Eggs, your Haunted Creepers, other things that aren't that great into better creatures, and this is called splitting your threats. And aside from AoE, it makes it very difficult for your opponent to successfully trade or deal with your board in an efficient manner. Doomguard, it's Doomguard, arguably the best card in the deck. Top decking this card feels like you're cheating, to be completely honest with you. That 5 damage, which is a 1/6 of someone's health, by the time this can be played, can really just be like throwing in, basically insult to injury, and you're like, okay, I've basically won. You have to deal with the 5/7 after dealing with this board of just really annoying value creatures. As you can see, the curve is absurd, and this is basically the perfect curve that you want to see in a kind of aggro deck. You see the 1s, the 2s are just off the charts, over 50% of the deck costs 2 mana or less, and you're almost always going to see a 1-drop in your opening hand. So this is the evil, abusive, no skill Zoo deck that nobody likes, and of course there's other cards that you can add into it. Mortal Coil, as I believe Zoo is going to be more prominent with the Hunter nerf that is coming up, and I'll be making a video for that. Mortal Coil to face the Zoo Mirror might become a more viable card, and things might be taken out. Power Overwhelming is still another incredibly good card. There are even decks currently that are running the Death Rattle variant of ZooLock, which is using Void Terrors to eat your Death Rattles, such as your Nerubian Egg, your Haunted Creepers, and then they are using Undertaker as another very strong 1-drop. So that's another very, very viable deck, as well as it will be using, where are you at? Void Caller, call out your Doom Guards, call out your Blood Imps, call out your whatevers. So that's it, that's Zoo. There are different variations. I don't know if I'll be going over all of them, but this is what I believe to be the most generic version of Zoo. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'm sorry it's on Zoo. I'm sure you guys are going to hate me for it, but it is part of the meta, and if you want me to help prepare you for the meta, this is a build I believe you're going to see plenty of. So please like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know. I always get back to you in the comments section, and I hope to see you guys in the next video. Later.